I'm not feeling the spark. Let's just be friends. Probably one of the most annoying text messages you could ever receive as a guy who's going on dates. You start dating a girl, you really like her, you're getting excited about the whole thing. You probably even thought the date was going well. And then you get this message and your heart drops. I've had dozens of guys who came into my coaching programs. This message, that was like the catalyst for them realizing I actually need to get this part of my life handled. I've been that guy too. But being on the other side of it now, I want to just share with you guys a couple things I think you need to understand as a man so you can stop getting that text message, because it's probably one of the worst, most frustrating things. Aside from not getting any dates at all, I think the next level is going on dates and then getting friend zone afterwards. Now you actually think there's like genuinely something wrong with you as a dude, because the girls are actually getting to know you on deeper levels now, and they're still like, yeah, and after getting to know you, I still don't want to date you. I think there's like two main switches that need to go off in your head to get out of being this guy. The first of which is when the woman says, I'm not feeling the spark, I'm not feeling it, I just want to be friends. The translation to that is, you didn't create the spark, thus I'm not feeling the spark. Thus, since I'm only feeling the friendly side of things, I feel like we should just be friends. I'm not feeling the spark because you didn't create the spark. And what do I mean by the spark? By the spark, I do not mean I didn't feel like we connected, because you can actually have a long date where you really get to know the other girl and you guys are communicating enthusiastically and you have a lot of commonalities and you guys actually have similar outlooks on life and you do connect, right? I think that's probably the most confusing part of it all for a lot of you guys, that you even go on the dates and you connect with the women and you're like, what? I thought it was going well. The translation though, when she says, I don't feel the spark, and I say you didn't create the spark, I'm talking about the attraction spark. Attraction is not comfort and connection, okay? They are two completely separate things. A girl can have high levels of attraction to a man and they have nothing in common. They're just not the same thing. There are two separate things that are necessary elements of dating. It's attraction and it's comfort and connection. Having one does not mean the other. Having all attraction and no comfort and connection, you're gonna be seen as this untrustworthy stud, lover, possibly even like fuckboy or rock star. Those are all the guys that have high levels of attraction, not just physically, by the way. If you're watching this video and it's like,
it's because I'm ugly.
No, that's not what I'm talking about here. That's not what it is. You actually have a decent level of physical attractiveness. That's why she was down to go on the date with you. If you didn't hit that minimum level of physical attractiveness, she wouldn't have even gone on the date. Understand that much. It's everything that happened on the date, in the conversation. That has to do with flirting. That's to do with your communication. Like, there is a vibe to flirting. There are certain words you could say to create more of a man to woman dynamic. There's a conversation that happened on this date, and the vibe, the delivery, and the words that were said between you and that woman, it created a friendly vibe. That's really what it was. You did not create that dynamic, and so she did not feel the spark around the whole thing. That is point number one. If you're getting a lot of these messages, it's probably because you're not good at flirting and escalating. If you want help with this process, if you struggle to flirt, if you struggle to escalate, if you struggle to create tension, if you're struggling to create that spark in your interactions with women and you want to work with me directly, you can click the link down below. I'd love to help you make a transformation with this stuff. This whole thing happened with a recent client that I'm working with, and so I want to talk about point number two because this actually applied to him. Because as I went through this whole thing, new objections and concerns came up, which was, yeah, I'm surprised actually, because, you know, when we initially matched online, she told me that she was looking for a life partner. And so I was actually just kind of confused because, you know, after going on the date and hearing these things, I was like, well, you said life partner. I didn't know that, you know, to get this girl, I would have needed to bring her home and like got sexual with her. And that is actually not true. It is not just I am the sexy, flirty stud that's looking for sex, or I am the polite gentleman that is playing it slow. This is a long play. I'm looking for a partner. I'm looking for something serious. It doesn't need to be one or the other. In fact, it's not one or the other. They are not the same thing. Because if a girl is looking for a long-term partner and she's looking for a serious relationship, best believe that she still wants a guy that can create those emotions within her, that can create that spark. That spark is not created by the act of sex. That spark is not created by kissing. That spark is not necessarily even created by dirty talk even, although it probably could be ignited with some dirty talk. But the act of kissing and escalating to sex is not what creates attraction. That creates intimacy and that transitions into arousal and ultimately intercourse. I'm talking about attraction though. So the second part of this that guys are failing to understand is that being the polite gentleman does not mean that you don't flirt and you don't create attraction. It simply means that you don't necessarily need to kiss or escalate to sex early on. You can still be, and you should be, if you're the guy that wants to get into a relationship, you still need to be the guy that can escalate, that can flirt, that can get her comfortable with physical touch. I'm not talking about fingering her in terms of physical touch. I'm talking about being able to be closer to the girl physically, location-wise, touching-wise. We don't need to kiss. It doesn't need to go to sex. But you need to get her comfortable being close to you. You need to get her comfortable or enjoying flirting with you, and some banter and some teasing and a little bit of teasing the ideas around kissing or sex, possibly. That is part of the mating process, and understand that if she wants a long-term partner, she needs to see potential in mating. We don't need to talk about sex. We don't even need to talk about kissing. But these are necessary things that you're gonna need to inject at least a little bit throughout in order to create a spark. Without these things, it is just simply comfort and connection. Simply put, so if you are the guy that's getting this message, maybe you're not even getting the message, maybe you're just getting ghosted after the date and you're not doing these things, man, understand, she's not feeling the spark because you're not creating the spark. All right, and that's on you to start doing that. Second thing is, you being a reserved gentleman who wants to take it slow, so you don't make a move, so you don't flirt with her, so you don't do anything because you're trying to do a long-term play here and you're looking for something serious, that's what's causing you to get ghosted. There is a happy medium in between where you don't need to go all the way, but you don't need to be all the way over here. All the way over here, the polite reserved gentleman who doesn't do shit gets nowhere, gets ghosted. The guy that's all the way over here, yeah, you're gonna hook up and get one night stands, and a lot of women also won't want that, but there's a nice healthy balance where you're right in the sweet spot of it all, where you're still a gentleman, you still want to play it slow, you still want a relationship, you still want all of these things, but you're still good at flirting and creating a sexy, fun, playful, teasing, flirtatious man-to-woman dynamic between you and the girl, and then it will slowly build up. It doesn't need to happen on date one. It doesn't even necessarily need to happen on date two. It can be a slow buildup, but there needs to be tension and a spark that's being created in the process of leading up to it. It's not flatline till date 5. We made it to date 5. Come here, I'm gonna kiss you now. She still wouldn't want to kiss you because you didn't build it up slowly. It is a nice slow buildup, and when it actually happens, then it feels good. And she's been dying for it. By the way, that can happen at the end of a date if you do it properly. A 5-hour date, you can slowly build that up, man. And again, I'm not even saying it needs to happen on day one, but that could be a very, very, very slow buildup that is not rushed and does not come off thirsty. And again, if that's not your preference, all good. Date 2, date 3, date 5, date 10, I don't care what date, but it should be having a slow buildup. That's what's gonna make her feel the spark. That's what's gonna get her fantasizing and craving you. And that's how you'll actually get the woman. If you want help with this process, if you struggle to flirt, if you struggle to escalate, if you struggle to create tension, if you're struggling to create that spark in your interactions with women and you wanna work with me directly, you can click the link down below. I'd love to help you make a transformation with this stuff. Summer is right around the corner. It is the perfect time. Like literally, it's prime time. You could put in a couple of weeks or months working on this skill set. And then when summer comes around, you're in a perfect position to actually capitalize on this so you can have the abundant dating life or the dream relationship that you've always wanted. And I'd love to help you make that change. Click the link down below, fill out the application for an opportunity to work with me directly. That's all for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.